welcome back to the Fight Pit. Ladies and gentlemen, we here for the UFC 302 Makhachev versus Poirier previews, predictions, and breakdowns. Intro music. You know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Fight Pit of the House Call Sports. We are here for UFC 302. Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier for the lightweight UFC championship of the world. You know the crew, but just in case you're new, I'm Drew, High Fight IQ. Did not mean to rhyme that many times in a row. It just worked out that way. We got Sean of the Dead, Mr. Bad Beats, and my brother from another 12 gauge, Gaugemus Maximus himself. How we doing today, fellas? You look good.
Doing pretty good so far. We get to talk about fights.
That's always a good time. Agreed. We got the full card on this one. We're doing
the nice having the crew back together after a week off from fights.
Felt forever. Really did.
Dude, weeks, like non-fight weeks, feel like months.
There wasn't even big info over the last 2 weeks other than the 304 stuff that we put in our last fight night. We got that all correct. We got all that correct.
We got June is going to be a big month for us, so we do got our plates full again too. We had a little bit of a hangover after 300 and kind of stumbled our way through the walk of shame of 301, and now we're here. Feeling good. We're hydrated. We're refreshed. We got some rest. The whole crew will be back with us shortly. We almost had the whole crew for this one, but we will have the whole crew here coming up soon. Definitely by the end of the year, we will have a few of the whole crew under our belts. We're gonna do the whole card for this one too. We got, it's a unanimous decision that this is Dustin Poirier's last chance to make it happen for the lightweight belt. And Sean Strickland looking to bounce back against Paulo Costa after losing the title to Dricus du Plessis. And then we're going to cover a little bit of the 304 matchups too. So we got a full plate for you today. It's going to be a good one. All right, let's get into the thick of it, down to the nitty gritty. Once again, wish me luck. I'm going in. We got a flyweight fight to open it up. We have Nyam Yargel, Tumendemberel.
Try my best.
Any objections? Versus Andre Lima. This one is pretty dope fight, to be honest. For considering that they're not very well known guys, and they're flyweights. Pretty dope fight. Both of them 8-0, undefeated, 2 KOs, 5 submissions, 1 decision win. He was a Road to UFC reserve in the Road to UFC in Singapore. And he's taken this fight on 1 month's notice. He's actually replacing the original Road to UFC contestant. He finished his last fight in 1 minute and 2 seconds, which it was impressive. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out before 302 pops off. He used good utilization of the center of the cage immediately, right away, commanded the center of the cage. He's got very crisp striking, and that led to a submission, which was impressive. And it was quick, and it was dominant, and it was a very nice one to see, especially for a young prospect like him. Going up against Andre Lima, also 8-0, 5 KOs, 2 decisions, 1 DQ win, which was his last fight, where you guys remember the bite tattoo. He just fought 2 months ago, so he's those quick turnarounds, they can go either way. They can drain you a lot more, or if you didn't expend too much in that first one, you're still fresh. He has 4 first-round finishes. He's got a 61% striking accuracy, and he has solid Muay Thai, very solid Muay Thai. Very high guard, very tight guard, very crisp, powerful strikes. This one is going to be exciting while it lasts. I don't think it's going to the cards. I think that this one is going to go under 2.5. It's the flyweight, so you never know. Calling those early cards, early rounds is difficult with the smaller guys. But this one, I'm going to go Lima by TKO. I think that they're just going to be trying to meet each other in the middle. It's going to be a striking battle. I think that Lima is a tad bit crisper. I think he throws a tad bit harder, but not by much. I wouldn't be surprised by a knockout either way on this one. I'm going to go under 2.5. Official pick, I'm going to pick Lima by TKO under 2.5 on this one. Any objections?
Not a one.
All right.
No.
And we're going to follow that one up. I'm going back to back with A's versus Jocelyn Edwards, women's 135 fight. Aylin Perez 9-2 against Jocelyn Edwards 13-5. Aylin Perez has 4 KOs, 1 submission, 4 decisions. She's 4-2 in her last 6 fights, coming off of a unanimous decision win over Lucia Pudilova. Jocelyn Edwards has 5 KOs, 3 submissions, 5 decision wins. She's 3-3 in her last 6, coming off a unanimous decision loss to Nora Cornell. This one, I gotta say, Jocelyn Edwards, from when I first saw her starting out in the UFC, she's come a lot further than I expected her to. I don't mean that to sound as like a knock on her or anything, but she's improved. She's improved a lot, and she looks phenomenal compared to when she first got in. She didn't look bad when she first got in, but she just wasn't one of those ones, you didn't hear her name a whole lot. She wasn't like a hyped prospect. She wasn't one of those ones that you were like, watching. You had seen her highlights and everything before she got into the UFC, but she's been rolling. 13-5 is nothing to turn your nose up at. This one, honestly, though, there's no other pick other than a decision on this one. I'm official picking Aylin Perez by decision. I think that she's only given up 1 inch in height. There's not going to be a huge size discrepancy in this one. I think that Aylin Perez is going to put the thumps on her. She's going to put the pressure. She's going to look to get the takedown, dominate on top position, and it's going to be a unanimous decision either way, but I'm going with Aylin Perez unanimous on this one.
100% agree.
Those are 2 tough ones right out of the gate, man. 2 very tight fights. But I think that we're gonna have at least a clean sweep of one of these cards, and this one I think we got a good shot at. Next one up, finishing up the early prelims, I'm going to throw it to Sean for a 170-pound fight. We got Mickey Gall versus Basil Hafez.
So, if you look at the records alone, Mickey Gall 7-5-0, and then Basil, you got 8-4-1. You would think this should be a really close fight, but the odds say otherwise, and rightfully so. I'll start with Basil because he is the favorite. He is 0-1 in UFC, which you would think, why is he this heavy of a favorite? His last fight was a loss by split decision, so a judge did think he won the fight against Jack Della Maddalena. So when we talk about strength of schedule, that's up there. He's in the top 5.
Making around that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, and someone said he won the fight, so that's huge. 1 KO, 4 submissions, very good ground game, 5'11". He's going to have a little bit of a reach disadvantage and height disadvantage. He's a well-rounded fighter. He can stand up and strike. It's not his main game, but he can get it done. He can grapple for submissions, ground and pound, and defensive wrestling. We've seen his defensive wrestling, which he will need in this fight, because Mickey Gall, the underdog, that's all he knows how to do is the ground game. He's 7-5 with 6 submission wins. So he wins, he's going to get you to tap.
Hold on. Let me jump in real quick. Those are all by rear naked choke. By the way, every single one.
That is something.
I mean, he is also the only guy to ever beat CM Punk in the UFC.
Jesus Christ, I wasn't expecting that one. Oh man, that means Mickey Gall's champ next week. But no.
I was looking at Mickey Gall's fights, and it's like CM Punk and then Sage Northcutt, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
two
Jesus
names,
Christ.
really? Like,
that's hilarious. He has lost his last 2 fights, Mickey Gall, and he hasn't fought in just over 2 years. His last fight was in April of 2022. He's lost 4 of his last 6 fights. He does have the advantage when it comes to UFC experience, but he also has advantage in losing too. He's 6'2". Like I said, he's going to have the height and reach advantage. He is slightly a better grappler, and he does have a great ground and pound. That's why he gets the rear naked chokes, because once they're on the ground, you get punched in the face. You'd rather give up the neck than give up the face. Just putting that out there. And that's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to push the pace, get him to the ground, and just ground and pound like crazy. But a 2-year layoff, and which is also good because he's been KO'd quite a few times. So that's also a good thing, taking that much time off. I think Basile, he's being 0-1 in UFC is weird, but a loss against Jack Della Maddalena by split decision, I think that's all you need to say there. I'm going to go Basile. I would like to say submission, but at the same time, I think this will be a decision. I think it'll be a good grappling fight. I think Basile will get a lot of top control. And no, I'm going to change it up last second. I'm going to say Basile by a rear naked choke. I think he's going to get Mickey Gall with the Mickey Gall treatment. So
I like it.
Yep.
Basile by. Do we have an over under on that one?
I'm going to say a late one. I'm going to say a 3rd round. I think it's going to be a good grappling until Mickey gets tired out with it, because he has been off for 2 years. So 3rd round, rear naked choke.
3rd round, rear naked. Signed, sealed, delivered. And this one was the one I was talking about. This is the only one that I think I'm going to jump in on, only because Mickey Gall is a friend of mine, and I am unabashedly biased to all of my friends. I think my friends are always going to win, and I'm always going to root for them. But this is a very tough fight. This is very difficult. If he gets it done, he's going to have to earn that shit. So I'm going with Mickey. I'll take it on my record, but very, very tough fight. Don't like it at all. But it'll be exciting. I'm just happy to see him back in there. And it is like very, I think there's going to be some sweet scrambles in this one, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Mickey does have more improved striking than he did when he first got into the UFC, but I think both of these guys being grapplers, the way you broke it down, Sean, I think there's going to be some dope scrambles on this one. And then that wraps up the early prelims. We got 2 finishes, 1 decision so far. Looking good. We're going to jump to the prelim card, the Nico Price versus Alex Morono fight at 170. Gage, hit us with it. You're muted.
Damn, it's been a while since I've done that.
There we go.
Lost my whole flow. So on paper, this fight looks closer than it is. The odds I'm pulling up right now, I think, are pretty close. Yeah, the odds are Nico Price is plus 200 and Alex Morono's minus 245 as of last post. Nico Price is a little younger, has a 4-inch reach advantage, has plenty of experience in the UFC. So physically imposing, you think he'd have a little bit of advantage. He's 3-4 in his last 7 fights, and has been knocked out all of those 4 times. He's been knocked out in both of his last 2 fights as well.
Robbie Lawler retirement.
Yeah, Robbie Lawler's retirement in 38 seconds, knocking out Nico Price. Alex Morono is not a huge striker, but he does have power in his hands. Does have some knockout wins. Likes to take it to deep water, go to decision. Likes to go for the ground game. Likes to try to submit you, but is no stranger to standing and banging. And I think Nico Price just leaves himself open to knockouts, really feast or famine. And I just think it's going to be famine. I think he gets put out under 2.5, under 1.5. Sorry, not 2.5. So official pick, knockout under 1.5 for Alex Morono.
Morono knockout under 1.5. That I would not be surprised at all, because that one, the one that always stands out to me about Morono was the Cowboy fight. That one, I was like, man, I didn't expect him to make it look that easy, and he's been rolling since then. Dude hits hard. Man. That's gonna be a good one to open up the prelims too. I think that I don't see that one going the distance either. That one will be an exciting one too. And Nico Price, when he can stay in there, man, he's game. He's got some.
Yeah, very feast of famine. Either he's really on his game, or he's just gonna give up one too many to the jaw. And his jaw is almost dust at this point.
Absolutely, yeah. It's tough to say. It's hard to say. It's tough to say that about guys that we like too, because he's a cool dude.
Yeah. He's actually from the city I live in. Like he lives here.
Oh, no shit.
Cape Coral, Florida. Nico Price. Yep. So everyone here goes to bars and waiting for the Nico fight. Like everyone's big supporter of him, so they know that he's representing. But he does enjoy himself at these bars a little too much too. He enjoys his party on the side. He has like
fighters. Yeah, fighters are known to do that. They do that. So that might be an issue. Like Robbie Lawler, I don't see him doing that like that last fight. I think he was so dialed in, and I don't know if Nico was at all. That makes sense. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It is, I think either way, like I said, it's going to be a finish. I don't see that one going to the cards either which way, whether he's able to hang in there or not. That'll be a good one. And then we'll keep it with a good one. We're going also at welterweight, 170. We got Philip Rowe versus Jake Matthews. This one, about as dope of a 170 matchup you could get without it being in the upper echelon, although the upper echelon of 170 hasn't been all that crazy lately. We got Phil Rowe at 10-4 and Jake Matthews at a 19-7. These guys, these are two of these guys that I'm like, I did not even realize they've been in here that long. They still feel like they just got here. Phil Rowe with 6 KO wins and 4 submission wins, 100% finish rate. All of his wins are by finish, either a KO or a sub. He's 3-2 in his last 5, coming off of a split decision loss to Neil Magny on I think it was the O'Malley Vera card, not too long ago. And Neil Magny it was a split decision against Neil Magny, as close as you can get. Very tough fight. I'll save that. I'll save that stat after I intro Jake. Jake Matthews, 19-7, 5 KO wins, 8 submission wins, 6 decision wins, 2-3 in his last 5. So both of these guys are kind of splitting down the middle of the road lately. He's also coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Michael Morales. Very tough fight. So one thing that jumped out to me about these guys is that Jake Matthews, 10 of his fights have finished under 1.5 rounds, but both of these guys only have 1 fight each that has finished under 1.5 rounds since 2018. They both finish, off. He's got a 100% finish rate. But I did think it was interesting. Neither of these guys have really been getting it done in the first 1.5 in the last 5-6 years or so.
Wow.
Philip Rowe, what's up?
No, I was just saying wow to that stat.
Oh yeah, that doesn't feel right to me. That was surprising. I feel like both of these guys have been especially 100% finish rate. That was just, that one stood out for sure. Phil Rowe, the reach obviously is going to be a very big factor for him, as it is against everybody, especially, I mean, even with Neil Magny, who also is one of the guys with that type of game-changing reach and like lankiness. Phil Rowe has incredible pressure for his size. He's able to keep people on the ends of his punches, manage distance real well. He's matured a lot in his technique and in his just his confidence, which is something that I've noticed about both of these guys too. Being in the UFC for a while now, they've taken their licks, they've had their wins and losses. They're not, they're not on losing streaks ever, but they're not on super long winning streaks. They're just guys that are just there, just putting in the work, gaining the experience, taking something from every fight and improving every time we see him in the next one. I think that his reach and his pressure, I think he's going to be looking to keep the fight standing. He's going to look to stay long, keep Jake Matthews on the ends of his punches. Jake Matthews giving up that reach, he's going to need to get inside. He does like the counter strike. He is pretty proficient at it. He throws very hard strikes too, which are like, there's a difference between hitting someone and like having just that solid technique where you're sitting down on your punches, you're turning and stepping on your kicks and everything. And Jake Matthews has it. So he's got those power strikes that if you're not minding your P's and Q's, one of them can change the whole dynamic of the fight very quickly. And as far as this one goes, I don't see it going to a decision either. I think both of these guys, regardless that it's not going to go under 1.5, I don't see this one going to a decision, especially with Phil Rowe, because he's not looking to outpoint anybody. I'm going to go official pick Philip Rowe by finish. I can't decide if it's going to be a KO, excuse me, or a submission, because I think that just as the fight goes on, Rowe is going to be too long. He's going to be catching Jake Matthews a lot more. Accumulative damage over time will eventually either drop Matthews and he'll finish with a TKO, or he'll look to shoot, which is where I think his advantage is. And I think that him being hurt, Phil will sink in a submission. Official pick, Phil Rowe by finish. Under 2.5. I don't think it's going under 1.5. I just can't. I can't go either which way on which type of finish. But I'm going finish either way. Do we have any objections in the courts?
Nope. I just say the safest bet, if you need to want to add to the parlay, is just not make the distance. Not going the distance is the safest bet with this fight. Correct.
Very correct. Instinct, I want to say knockout, but I feel like if I say knockout out loud, if I make it the pick, he's going to get another submission. So just not to go the distance, over 1.5, Phil Rowe for sure. Next one up, keep it rolling. Another sick fight, dude. This card's sneaky. We got a 155 fight, Grant Dawson versus Joe Selecki. This one we are going to Sean. Sean is going to hit it back to back on this one.
All right. So people are going to think maybe the best grappling fight of the night could be Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev. That is not the case. This would be the best grappling fight of the night. I want them not to do the old-fashioned, we're both good grapplers, we're just going to stand there and strike for 3 rounds. Even though Grant Dawson definitely has the advantage and the power to get it done there versus Joe, but I would love to see the grappling. This could be 3-round war on the ground. You could be seeing submission attempts all over the place. Grant Dawson is 8-1-1 in the UFC, and his last fight was a loss by KO to Bobby Green. He just couldn't close the gap on Bobby Green. Bobby Green he's so fast. People don't understand how fast he is. Only upper echelon guys can really catch him. And then Joe Selecki is 5-2 in the UFC, 8 submissions versus Grant's 13 submissions. His last fight was a KO loss to Drakkar Klose. And Drakkar Klose is no slouch. He just had a great fight at UFC, I think 301. If not, he was on a fight night right beforehand.
I think it was 301, yeah.
Yeah. and is no slouch. He's a very good fighter and has a lot of power. But I do think Bobby Green is better. And I think Grant Dawson has advantage standing and I think a little bit on the ground. Not by much, though. This is a very tight ground game between the two. Yeah, Grant Dawson 22-1 versus Joe Selesky's 13-4. You look at them, same age, 1 inch height advantage, no reach advantage for Grant Dawson. This is a minus 380, but it should be a little closer than this. It should, I would say, minus 250 for Grant Dawson, but regardless, I'm going to go with Grant Dawson because if they do decide to stand, it for sure is Grant Dawson's game, a better game than Joe Selesky. But if it goes to the ground, it could be anyone. It really could. I'm going to say 29-28 Grant Dawson by decision will win this fight.
Dawson by decision 29-28. That is another sweet grappling match too. We've got like these matchups they got for these prelims so far are pretty even, man. Like even you know, everybody's got a way to win in this one. And bam. And we're gonna keep it with you. I'm gonna let you also. Is it Almeida and Kopylov? Yeah. Yep. 185 middleweight fight. We got Cesar Almeida versus Roman Kopylov. Sean, roll it.
I think of all the prelims, this is the closest fight. Because Cesar Almeida, if you don't know who he is, he's 1-0 in the UFC. He's 5-0 in total, 4 KOs, 6'1", a power striker. He is looking to take your head off. He is not there to point fight you. He's going to try to kill you. Roman Kopylov, 12-3, 11 KOs. So same thing, and his KOs are insane. They could be. He's done a liver shot punch, took the guy out, head kick knockout. Very creative striker. I'm a huge fan of him, fanboy of him. I was very torn because obviously Hernandez was his last fight, and we here at the Fight Pit we're a big Hernandez team. So it was like, damn. It was like, damn, Kopylov, please don't take this fight. Like, fight someone else. Like, I don't want you to fight him. But it is what it is. And he's 4-3 in the UFC, but don't look at that and be like, oh, so he's not that great. His losses have been to wrestlers and grapplers in general. This is a striker, and every striker that Kopylov goes against, he beats and usually finishes. 6 feet tall, so 1 inch height disadvantage. Lost his last fight, subbed by Anthony Hernandez. No, that's nothing to be upset about. Definitely with the lack of grappling experience. He has UFC experience advantage in strength of schedule. Who he's fought guys in the top 15, and he's a more well-rounded striker in general. We've never seen Roman Kopylov's chin tested, but we've also really haven't seen anyone really. I think he has been KO'd once, but it was early in his UFC career. But he's become way better striker since then. So could he get KO'd? Yes. And I definitely think finish for this fight. That is the guarantee on this fight, is finish. So doesn't make the distance is the better move than picking one in. But if you have to pick one, I'm a little biased on the Roman Kopylov. On the Fight Pit, he was on my first card I ever did, and he was actually an underdog, and I picked him. And I've just been like, dude, this guy's sick ever since. So I'm definitely biased on it. So Roman Kopylov by finish. I want to do something creative because he's always creative. He hasn't done anything to the leg, so I'm just going to be really goofy with this one. I'm just going to be like, he's going to finish him by just leg kicks. Just absolutely destroy the leg.
I like it. You gotta stick with who brought you to the dance for sure.
Yep.
Do you remember what card that was?
I do not. I would have to look at his fights and I could tell you. So that's how. Yeah. That's awesome. I thinking about it. I don't remember what the card. I think I'm coming up on 1 year. I think September of last year. It was when I joined up with you guys. We're gonna have to get some. We're gonna have to do some anniversaries
do a little anniversary party or so.
Yeah, I'm just about my 1 year at the moment. I don't know what month I started in. It might have been July or June, something like that.
That Hernandez, to your credit, the Hernandez fight was the only fight that I've ever picked against Kopylov, because he's a bad dude. He's a bad dude. Yeah. All right, so we got Kopylov by finish, not to go the distance on that one. Two not to go the distance bets. Rowe and Kopylov, something to keep in mind if you're looking at parlays like a degenerate like myself. And that wraps up the prelims. Moving on to the main card, UFC 302 main card. Oh my goodness, where has the year gone? Excuse me. This one, we're gonna throw back to Gage. We got a welterweight fight opening up the main card. Randy Brown versus Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos.
And this fight's going to be a great way to start off the main card. It's going to be it's a pick'em odds wise. It really is. I think it's 150 either way, plus minus. Randy Brown, I think, being the favorite last time I checked by minus 170. Randy Brown, and plus 140 for Elizu. So Randy Brown is 4 years younger, has 4 years younger, 4 inches height advantage, and a 5-inch reach advantage. All pointing that, if he strikes, he's going to have a big, huge advantage. Not necessarily the case. Randy Brown also likes to go try to take it down, averages 4 takedowns per fight. And Elizu Zaleski dos Santos has allowed 2 takedowns in his last 5 fights, and the takedowns shot against him are over 20 in those fights. He's very efficient takedown defense. I think this is going to be one of those fights that both guys can be on the ground, but they're going to respect the ground game of each other and just stand. I think it's Sean kind of alluded to that earlier in his prior breakdown. But I think it's going to be one of those fights. And surprisingly enough, yes, both these guys have finishes. Both these guys have knockout wins, submission wins. 3 of the last 5 Randy Brown's fights have went to decision. And Elizu, his last fight went to decision. Well, his last fight was a draw. The fight prior to that went to decision. So last 2 fights have went to the cards. Last 3 fights, have went to the cards. And I think it's going to go to the cards again. And I'm going to go, this could be my dog pick of the night. I'm going Elizu Zaleski dos Santos by decision over Randy Brown.
Dos Santos by decision.
I think it's truly a pick 'em. If you feel more towards Randy Brown, striking has the edge, go Randy Brown by decision. That's really, if watching through, you parlay one or the other, but I firmly would throw that it's going to end up on the cards rather than one of these guys taking it by knockout, if anything.
We go. So Dos Santos decision, but could go either way, and we'll throw fight goes the distance on that one. Beautiful. Definitely a sick fight to open up the main card on this one too. That's another tight one. Even though Dos Santos is technically plus money and everything too, I think you're right, Gage. I think that's going to be a lot closer than the odds have it. I think that one could definitely be a pick'em, and it would make sense. Absolutely.
Plus money at plus 140 is fairly anything, especially in fighting odds. Yeah. It basically makes it a pick'em. And if you're getting 140 on a fight that's going to be this close, might as well take it.
Yep.
Absolutely. That's where the real money is made too, on those those plus ones, those plus 120s, plus 140s.
It's good booster for the parlays too. Getting one plus 140 in there. That's relatively safe pick.
Oh yeah, you're essentially just doubling whatever else you got. So that's a good call. That's a good call. I like that. That might be.
I think that might be the underdog pick of unless people want to go Paul Acosta, because there's good reason to go there when we get there. So
that's true. I do have one other underdog pick, but once again, it's purely on bias. So don't listen to me on those. The next fight we got on this one is this is the lone heavyweight fight on the card. I believe.
So I'm happy I'm not picking it. Jesus, I'm like over 15 on heavyweights.
Yeah, I would not. I don't.
I'm not far behind.
Yeah. If we were going only for the year, dude, I don't think I've picked 5 if we've done 50. But that's okay. That's okay. I'll work through this one. Hopefully bounce this one back into the win column for this one. Derek Lewis came through for me, so we'll keep it rolling. We got number 7 Jailton Almeida going against number 13 Alexander Romanov. Jailton Almeida opened at a minus 245. I'm not sure what the odds are looking at now, but I am willing to bet that he is still a pretty sizable favorite. Jailton Almeida, 20-3 in his pro career, 7 KOs, 12 submissions, 1 decision. In his last 16 fights, he's 15-1. His lone loss in his last fights a couple months ago versus Curtis Blades, it was a KO loss in the second round. 15 of his fights have ended in the first round. His opponent Alexander Romanov is 17-2, 6 KOs, 9 submission wins, 2 decisions, coming off of a unanimous decision win over Blagoy Ivanov. He has only lost to Alexander Volkov and Marcin Tybura. He has had 12 of his fights end in the first round. And the reason for most of those is because this dude is big. He is rotund. And especially going up against, compared in like a side-by-side to Jailton Almeida. Jailton Almeida, if you didn't know that he was a heavyweight and you just saw a picture of him, you might think he's like a welterweight or a middleweight. Dude is just shredded up. They're both big dudes. I think that Romanov is going to have a size advantage purely just based on his stature and his build. I think if it's both of these guys are very proficient grapplers. I think both of these guys are going to kind of, a immovable force and unstoppable object when it comes to the ground game. The difference in this one, I think, is going to be the striking for Jailton Almeida, albeit not, I wouldn't say elite, but I think that he's got a bit of a technique advantage over Romanov on this one. Not too much, but just enough. They both have KOs. They both have submissions. They're both used to getting finishes. They're both looking for finishes. I don't think either of these guys, Jailton Almeida's only decision win was the just sitting on top of Derek Lewis for 25 minutes. And Alexander Romanov only has 2 decision wins. Other than those 3 fights between these guys, probably around 40 fights or so combined, only 3 of them have gone to a decision. So this one I think is not going to a decision. I'm going under 2.5 on this one. I'm going to take Almeida by TKO. I'm going to bet that his grappling prowess is going to be a tad bit superior based on his slight striking advantage. In the Alexander Volkov fight, Alexander Volkov, of course, one of the tallest, longest fighters that have ever competed. Romanov was shooting immediately. He was not close to having the upper hand in that fight very often. And I think that this one, both of them would be looking ordinarily to make it a grappling match, but I think that the striking of Almeida is going to be a little bit of a difference maker. I think he's going to use that either to set up his grappling so that he can transition from the hands to the shot and establish a dominant position on the ground. But if Romanov gets on top of him, I don't know that he's getting up, because he's a tarp. He is a tarp. He's a giant tarp in the middle of a rainstorm, just heavy. There's bigger dudes, I think more, stout dudes, thicker dudes than Almeida that just get stuck under Romanov and just cannot get up until he ends up, pounding them out and getting a finish. But this one, official pick, I'm going Almeida by TKO under 2.5, and very slight chance it could be a submission. So maybe sprinkle a little bit on Jailton Almeida submission, because that'll probably be the more favored method of victory. But I'm going to lay down Almeida by TKO on the line for that one. And that takes us to a 185 fight. These fucking names, man. Versus Gage. Did you want to take that one?
Bro, I have no idea.
That name is ridiculous.
It is number 15, Kevin Holland versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
I mean, better than
yeah.
Than
Merrill.
Okay. Man. So just looking at Kevin Holland, still only 31, and stays so busy. Kevin Holland just stays so busy. He did fight 2 months ago. Well, I guess at the time of the fight will be almost 3 months. Against Michael Venom Page, and we all saw how that fight went. Kevin Holland just didn't look comfortable. Michael Venom Page's angles and the striking, and really just I couldn't get anything going against him. I don't think he suffered a lot of damage, so I think the quick turnaround, I'm not too worried for Kevin Holland. Does have a 7-inch reach advantage in the striking, and I think this is going to be a strike fest. But I would like to see Kevin Holland use his grappling. Mikhail has been submitted many times in his professional career, and I think Kevin Holland has a distinct edge in the ground game. And he's shown it that if he wants to impose the grappling and the ground game, the submissions, he can. Kevin Holland is just also an entertainer and will throw wild, crazy, unorthodox shots at people, put people out. But I would like to see a smarter Kevin Holland. I'd still love to see the entertainment, the shit talking, and everything that makes Kevin Holland Kevin Holland. Like I've said it many times in the group chat. If we could interview anybody right now, my first go-to is Kevin Holland.
That is true, Kevin Holland. I know you're watching. Gage you have been Gage's number one choice for an interview ever since I've known him. That is 100% facts.
And personalities, A1, skills in the octagon, A1, and he just stays so active in the division, whichever division he's been into, and just ever since the 3 fights in, what was it, 5 in a year? Something crazy like that?
Yeah.
Has stayed with 3 fights in a year, and he's on pace to do 3 or 4 this year. Mikhail has the distinction of being Sam Alvey's last fight in UFC. Shout out to Sam, another one of the guys we've had the pleasure of interviewing.
Friend of the fight pit.
Kevin just has to be careful on the feet. Mikhail has a lot of KO wins, very few decision wins. The last 2 fights for Kevin have went to decision just for the talent he's facing. Went to the cards against Jack Della Maddalena and with MVP. Those are 2 guys a lot of people don't make it to the cards against. So I don't foresee this going to the cards. I don't foresee it making it to a 3rd round. So I would go under 1.5 submission Kevin Holland. If you want to go the other way, you don't like the Kevin Holland pick, you want a dog. Mikhail by knockout, TKO. He just won a lot of fights in the first round and a half by knockout. So if you want to sprinkle that, try to get better odds, by all means. But firm pick, my lock of the card is Kevin Holland.
Beauty. I like it. I can't say I would choose any different. I think Holland is one of those guys, like you were saying. He's so entertaining, great personality. He's one of those guys that's just a star, a big star in the making, and has hit, kind of a plateau as far as like the popularity and everything.
The talent level he's faced in the last 2 fights is as best as you can offer in the division. Like,
he's been
MVP is going to be a top 5 guy in like a fight or 2. Dak's already, I think, 7 at the time of this recording.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Holland's at 15 now. It's ridiculous that Kevin Holland's at 15, but he's fighting like top 5, top 10 guys like every fight.
Yeah, and he's always. It doesn't matter how long the fight is, how far away it is.
If you want to know who Kevin Holland was, just look at when he had to fight Hamza Chimaev on like 2 days' notice. Because Hamza
that was like 24 hours notice. I think they switched it because they were all like
the weight cut. So it was under 36 hours.
Yeah,
wasn't it like
Nick Diaz had a fight.
Right.
Nate Diaz had a fight.
Nate Diaz ended up fighting Tony Ferguson. He was supposed to fight Daniel Rodriguez, and that's a striker. And he was preparing for a striker, and then he gets Khamzat Chimaev.
They canceled the press conference because everybody was fighting backstage.
Yeah,
I remember that one. That was a crazy night. 279, I think. 279. One of those. Yeah. So Holland submission under 1.5. For the bets record.
Damn, Drew, I gotta give you props on that. It was UFC 279.
Yeah. Let's go.
This isn't even that long ago. That's crazy.
I haven't.
It was 2 years ago.
All those memories out completely.
These cards are flying by.
And then, so for the sprinkle, also you said Mikhail round 1.
I would go Mikhail under 1.5 knockout. Most of his wins have been in the first round and two minutes of round 2. So 1 to 1.5 by knockout is his MO.
Sick. Beautiful picks so far, gentlemen. Beautiful picks. Taking us to the co-main and main events. And Rob, apologies, but we're going over on this one, sir. We're going over on this one. These ones are...
Apologies to Joe right now. Is
Joe handling it? Joe, apologies.
No. Fuck him.
We these big pay-per-view cards though, we have a little bit of wiggle room because they've been just absolutely stacked. Sans 301, they've been stacked this year, super stacked. Co-main event, back to it. Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa. Sean Strickland still ranked number 1. Oh, wow. That's cool. Versus number 7, Paulo Costa. This one, we're all giving our picks on to. I am interested because these ones are going to be interesting as far as how it pans out. We could be split on these. We could be unanimous. Sean Strickland, 28-6, 11 KOs, 4 submissions, and 13 decisions. He has only had 3 losses since 2018. And he's coming off of a split decision loss to Darius Duplessis, where he gave up his championship belt. Paulo Costa, 14-3. It feels like he's been fighting so much longer than that. 11 KOs, 1 submission.
He's canceled fights and been injury after injury, and he's taken a while.
That's a damn good point. It could just be because I've seen his name so much, regardless of whether he fought or not.
All last year he missed due to injuries and that staph infection.
Yeah, he was when Usman stepped in, huh? He is 2-3 in his last 5. He was undefeated prior to fighting Israel Adesanya, and he's coming off of a unanimous decision loss to Robert Whittaker. But who isn't, honestly? Who isn't coming off?
Not a lot of people are making it to the cards with Robert Whittaker.
True, very true. So these guys coming off 2 losses to either new champ or former champ. Nothing to hang your head about. Sean, we'll start with you on this one. Let us know where we're kicking it off with Strickland and Costa.
I think the story is not about Sean Strickland here. It's about Paulo Costa. Sean Strickland, you know what you're going to get, and he's going to be the same fighter no matter what. And there is a blueprint of how to beat Sean Strickland that is getting him on his back foot. Alex Pereira did it, landed the left hook. Darius Duplessis did it, won enough rounds. Very close fight, but he won enough rounds to do it. And that's how you beat Sean Strickland. Paulo Costa, what he did against Robert Whittaker is what you need to do against Sean Strickland to get the win. Be the one putting the pressure, and he almost knocked out Robert Whittaker. Let's not forget that. If that Paulo Costa shows up, I think he ends up getting a finish on Sean Strickland. If not, at least winning. I think it is a 5-round though, so that's kind of tough for Paulo, but I think he could get the finish if he is the one asserting dominance in this fight. Does he do it? I have no idea, because Paulo Costa is a 2-sided coin here. Like, you see him against Israel Adesanya, Marvin Vettori. That wasn't Paulo Costa. I don't know what the hell that is. And then you see him against Robert Whittaker and Luke Rockhold. He looked amazing, even in the loss to Robert Whittaker. So this minus 220 plus 180, I think, is bullshit. I think this is way closer than this. I just trust Sean Strickland being consistent and doing the job more. So I'm going to go with Sean Strickland. But Paulo Costa gets the finish. I am not surprised by any means. So Sean Strickland, I'm going to say decision, just over 5 rounds. That would be my pick.
Not surprised at all if Costa is able to get it done. I feel the same. But that's a good point you made, because I knew that it was a 5-round fight, but I wasn't approaching it like a 5-round fight in my head. But I think over that 5 rounds, how many times has Costa gone 5 rounds? Do we know of any?
I think once.
Yeah. I don't even recall him going an entire 5 rounds. I know he's gone 3 rounds. I don't even remember who he went.
Well, no, he didn't go 5 with Izzy, but it was scheduled 5.
Yoel Romero fight, was that a fight night main event or no?
I think that one was.
If that was a fight night main event, that would have been 5 rounds. I know it went to decision, and that was insane.
That was. It wasn't a fight. I think it was a DC and Cormier, DC and Stipe card.
Oh, so there's a 3-rounder underneath them. Okay.
And Paulo Costa did win a decision, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
but that was only 3. I can't think of a time where he's gone a full 25 minutes.
So Paulo Costa needs to show
No,
up.
he beat you all by decision round, and there was a 3-round fight.
3-round? Okay.
What card was it on?
241. So whatever 241 was. Yep. DC Stipe.
Yeah, you've been doing your homework. Got that homework going.
It's almost like I know this shit. You know what I mean? I'm doing a damn good job of tricking you guys. I'll tell you that.
That's why you should be following our picks.
Yeah. If you guys are if you're looking to get tricked, you can't. There's nobody better. There's nobody better. I'll trick you better than anybody in the game.
Oh, this is confirmed 5-round.
I do believe so.
As far as I know, yeah.
And even Paulo Costa made a whole Instagram funny video of it too.
Really?
Him eating ice cream, and then Dana White is like, and the co-main event at 302 is Flynn versus Paulo Costa, and he's like looking at the camera eating his ice cream, and it's a 5-round fight, and he's like, spits it out and puts the ice cream down, and he gets on the bike immediately.
That guy's still.
Paulo Costa is like the king of the trolls, man.
Yes.
Him,
Marab, Phil Rowe. There's a couple guys who definitely have upped their game, and they're doing a fantastic job. Costa's still sitting at the top.
Rob is actually like
really good. Rob
is like legitimately funny, like unhinged, just straight.
Yeah. But Marab is good at like if they're thinking of comedians, Marab is like a movie comedian, and Costa is a stand-up comedian. So that one I got. I'm also going to go with Strickland. I'm going to go with Strickland by unanimous decision. I don't see Costa being able to hang for 5 rounds in the driver's seat. I think if it, even in that Luke Rockhold fight, he had those moments where it looked like he was gassed, even though he was winning. He was, dominant for the most part, but he got rocked at one point, and I'm going with Sean Strickland, unanimous decision. And absolutely sprinkle on Paulo Costa by knockout. Gagemus hit us.
No, Paulo Costa will not make it 5 rounds. That's true enough. Sean Strickland can, will, and has made it 5 rounds. That being said, it's not going to make it to 5 rounds because I think Paulo Costa is going to stop this short in about round 3. Sean does have a tendency to get caught because, like Sean said, you know what you're gonna get every time you stand across from Sean Strickland. Impeccable takedown defense, Billy Shell, precise striking. Nothing's gonna blow your head off, but it's gonna touch you up everywhere across your face, and he's gonna be technically sound because that's Sean Strickland's boxing, and that's what the game he forces you in. Paulo Costa has ridiculous power, is massive on fight nights, walking into the octagon. Does have great takedown, does have great grappling, but I think Sean mitigates that. So I think it's gonna be straight striking, and if it's the same Paulo Costa that fought Robert Whittaker, I'm taking Paulo Costa.
I agree with that,
and I think he's gonna be the same person, and I think Robert Whittaker is a better fighter than Sean Strickland. And yes, Sean beat Israel Adesanya. Look at before that. Sean was not a top 5 guy. He just wasn't. And we all despite what everyone on the internet said, no one saw him beating Izzy. No one thought it was going to even be close. And we can't forget that. Yes. Do I personally think Sean beat Dricus? Yes. I personally do. But that doesn't change the fact he beat Izzy, lost immediately. Still sitting at number 1, even though he wasn't even a top 5 guy before he won the belt. Paulo Costa has always been a top 5 guy. And if you just, without everything in mind, just going straight off the facts, Paulo Costa has more power, better grappling, and he looked fantastic against Robert Whittaker. And Sean Strickland did not look great against Dricus. Looked good enough to win, didn't look great.
Yep.
My only caveat is if it does go over 3 rounds, I would question Paulo's gas tank and all that, which are legitimate concerns. If you look at the Luke Rockhold fight, the fight ended with Luke Rockhold on top, smearing his blood all over Paulo Costa's face, and you can't win a unanimous decision ending the fight on your back with the dude just leaking blood on your face. Like, that's just also Luke Rockhold too. So yeah, I'm gonna go official pick round 3 TKO Paulo Costa.
Ooh, I like it. Round 3.
Yeah, definitely over 2.5. Easy. I don't think it's gonna go early.
Beautiful. That would 1000% be my hedge too. Is a Costa. That's gonna be one of the when I do like a hedge, like underdog type parlay for finishes. You know, those tight ones. You'll have Costa, the Mikal, Jake Matthews, and the Tumendum Barrel. Those really close ones too.
Nico Price. Throw Nico Price in there too, plus 200.
Right? Yeah, that's good money right there too.
You even do Cesar Almeida too, or Roman Kopolov, just because the guy's 5-0 and 4Ks.
That's right. Yeah.
There's some underdogs you can pick on this card.
Oh, I pick the main code Elozu at plus 140.
That's right.
You can make a disgusting underdog parlay. Something like 5 ways to $10 to win a couple, like 400. Probably.
This is a great card for the dogs if you want to go dog parlay here. Paulo Costa at plus 180.
The way things have been going lately too, we're just kind of hitting in a like middle of the year type of like weirdness where, you know, we had one card where wasn't it like 4 out of 5 underdogs won on one of those fight nights recently? Insane.
Yeah, we've had a card we went 12-0, and then the one fight night card we went what? I think.
Yeah, we were like
6 for 10.
Yeah. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. We roll in the dice. But good ones on that one too. We got Strickland Costa taking us to the main event.
Also, my official dog for the week is Paulo Costa.
Dog for the week, Paulo Costa. Yeah. Sean, any specific dog?
I like, if you needed to put money on someone, I like Paulo Costa as the dog because it can really happen. It really can.
All right, we'll make Paulo Costa the official dog of the week, and then let's do the main event and then we'll call it a lock because may or may not have it in this one. Time for the main event. We got the 155-pound championship fight between Islam Makhachev and Dustin the Diamond Poirier. The odds on this one quite long odds. Not looking good for Dustin. Opened at a plus 375. Islam Makhachev at a minus 550. You gotta think that there's, in the words of John Anik, I'm doing my Anik right now, you gotta think that some money has come in on Dustin Poirier by guillotine submission because you know he's going for it. You know, there is no doubt that I think the over-under for jumping the gilly in this fight alone has to be 2.5 because you know Islam's going to shoot and you know Dustin's going to try to wrap up that guillotine. Gage, I'll start it. We'll go back the other way on this one. I'll start it with you on this one. Who are we opening up with in this championship fight?
I mean, you gotta sprinkle Dustin by guillotine. If you're a true fan of the game, you gotta sprinkle a little bit. There's gonna be at least 2 attempts at it. Yeah, my name kind of gives this away. In the words of Khabib, today, brother, today, what does it matter? Smash. Yeah, Dustin, don't get me wrong. I love Dustin Poirier. Super entertaining. Great hot sauce. If you ever tried it, great hot sauce. Good dude. Been around the game for forever. The 35 and up curse is fucking real, man. Like, the best example of that was Alexander Volkanovski. 0-3. 0-3 in title fights after the age of 35. It's crazy. And that's, man, one of the best fighters we have ever seen. One undefeated opponent is always Father Time. No one beats Father Time. This is, in fact, I think Dustin's last shot at it, and it's a damn good shot. He's not super outmatched. Islam has taken a lot of time off. Dustin is the better striker, but we know that's not Islam's game plan here. It's get him to the ground, maul him, suffocate him, and just suck the life out of Dustin until he can put him in submission. On the other side of that coin, Dustin has a gas tank for days. Never seen him get tired. Has excellent jiu-jitsu, which isn't talked about enough. Will try to put you in submission off his back, and is very dangerous. So I think his game plan is A, jumping guillotine. B, make Islam try and shy away. Make Islam think he can stand and bang against Dustin, and then Dustin's going to put his lights out. I don't see it. It's either going to be all or nothing for Dustin Poirier. But my pick is, I think it's going to be Islam. I'm going to go over 3.5 here.
I like it. It.
I wouldn't hedge that it's going to be a decision, but I think Islam, either Dustin knocks him out in the first 2 rounds, or Islam just drags Dustin to round 4, round 5, and then submits him or brings him to the cards. But I think Islam he's the guy right now. He's still young enough, has proven he can do it against the best. And as much as I personally don't like the brand of fighting that he displays, he has the records and accolades and people to say, yes, he is the guy right now. It's not John Jones. It's not fucking Ilya Topuria. It's not anyone else with a belt. And it's not even Alexander Volkanovski. It's Islam Makhachev. But that being said, I would not be sad in the slightest if he gets knocked out by Dustin.
Not at all. I think if we're going heart picks over brain picks, I think all of our hearts are with Dustin. I think it's safe to say. This one, I absolutely the right pick for this one is Islam Makhachev by a submission or a decision, a unanimous decision, very unanimous decision. The last one, Benoit Saint Denis had a staff. I think he said it was. He came out and said that he was compromised in that one. Said that he had one good round in him, and Dustin got it done in the second round. So it's very, very difficult to pick against Dustin. The smart money is for sure on Islam, but Dustin got it done for me in the last one. This is his last chance. And, bias aside, if he gets it done on this one, I'm not going to be the guy that didn't pick him. So I'm gonna go with Dustin on this one. I was willing to take it on my record the last time, and he pulled it out for me. So this could just be my late record loss for picking Dustin Poirier on this one. But I'm going to say Dustin Poirier by KO. I'm going to say under 4.5 and a million.
Earlier than that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's got to be earlier than that. I think that if he's able to knock him out, I think that he's going to have to let Islam get tired.
Dustin did not look good in his takedown defense against Benoit Saint Denis. No,
not at all. And I don't think he's going to be able to stop it early on. I think that if he does get a KO, it's going to be one of those like Dan Hooker type ones where he comes on later on and like his veteran savvy is able to take over later on.
I mean, yeah, but you say that Islam has plenty of experience in UFC now and has been fighting 5-round fights.
True.
And I haven't seen him really get gassed.
Volkanovski, I think, was the one that got him the closest to being gassed. I think that there were some moments in that first Volkanovski fight where Islam was maybe feeling a little bit just... Well,
I mean, we all know how we feel about the...
Yeah, we won't get started on that one. But I think that if Dustin Poirier is able to get it done, it's going to be, I mean, unless he clips him, unless he just, right out of the gate is able to catch him off guard with some hot stuff. But official pick, I'm going Poirier by KO in the 3rd round. Sean, we're absolutely split on this one. I'm pretty confident I know who your pick is going to be, but please enlighten us. Let us know who we're finishing this card off with.
Yeah. Last on the fight night last time, we briefly went over it, and I said, and I'll say it again, the only way Dustin Poirier wins this is when he gets that shot. He's going to get an opportunity. He gets it in every fight. And if you look at his 2 championship fights against Khabib, he had the guillotine, and then he could have used it to stand up. And remember, if you've ever been put in a chokehold, your head's spinning a little bit if you don't get knocked out, from it. So go unconscious. Sorry, not knocked out. Unconscious from it. So he could have used that to get up and then go for the finish against Khabib. And then against Charles Oliveira, he laid on top of him for a minute and a half because he was afraid to continue in ground and pound. I do believe Dustin's going to do something in this fight that's going to get Islam rattled or hurt at some given point. He does it in every big moment. Even against Benoit Saint Denis, but he took the chance, and he actually did. If you look at that last fight, that's what he's going to have to do. He knows he's not going to win by points. That's not what the case is, even though he can win by points. He's going to have to see, I have something here, and go for it. He has to say, this is my career, this is it. I keep saying it. I need to put it on the line. That's what he did last fight. That's what he needs to do this fight. I don't know if he does it. And if will it be enough? Even if he does it, will it be enough?
Also, a little fun fact about Dustin Poirier is 6-0 in his UFC career in the month of June.
Oh, that's a cool fact. That's a cool one. Yeah. I'm going to go Islam Makhachev. I'm going to go 2nd round rear naked choke. Same exact thing as Khabib.
I mean, Dustin does love getting submitted to the rear naked.
Charles was a 3rd.
Yep.
The other 2 were other 2 it's already happened. I'm saying that. But, I'm already putting it in stone, but no. But 1 in 2nd, 1 in 3rd. So I'm going to go with the under on the total rounds. I don't know what it is currently. I haven't looked at a line. But I'm going to go under, unless they have it at 1.5, then I'll go over because I think it can go 2 full rounds. But yeah, that's unfortunately, I think Dustin's career ends on a loss here, but anything can happen. And I will say, if Dustin Poirier gets that finish, there will be a plenty of veteran fans that have been watching this for a very long time. I've been watching this since he's been 21 years old in the UFC. I've been a fan watching it. I remember when he was the skinhead one against Conor McGregor, when you wouldn't even recognize that guy. And it's there will be some grown men crying if Dustin Poirier is walking out of there with a belt around his waist. I'm telling you, I'll be screaming at the TV, and there might be a tear coming down my face after that. But it's just how much he has done for the UFC, how many legendary fights he's put on. Unfortunately, I do not believe it's going his way.
Absolutely. It's like I said, heart is with Dustin all the way. Brain, not so much. But here's hoping, guys. Here's hoping. We're sending you our love, Dustin. Please, just show up for this one, man. Please show up for this one. That wraps up UFC 302. We got about 10 left, so let's jump in. Lock of the week. Dog of the week, we got Paulo Costa. Votes for lock of the week.
Kevin Holland.
I'm
going to go Islam for my lock.
Islam, yeah. I thought that one would be, as much as I don't want that to be a lock, that makes some of the most sense. That's definitely, we got Grant Dawson at a 380. So Islam is the biggest favorite on the card. Yeah.
My heart will not allow me to make that the lock of the week.
That's true.
My heart will allow me to make Islam the correct pick.
My pocket will when I bet on Islam. By second round finish.
I'm not saying Poirier's not going to have Islam on it. I'm not saying that.
I'll double up on Holland too, because but Islam.
I'll go with it. I'll go with Holland.
Okay,
Oh,
so we'll
that's
throw it
right.
on Holland. Holland is the lock of the week. Costa, the dog of the week. And that's for 302 coming up on, is it June 3rd, June 1st?
June 1st.
First.
Baby.
We've been hitting our dog of the week too. Also, the Jose Aldo we hit, and then 300.
Time, bro. I'm telling you, our bet
Yes.
picks,
Yeah.
we're hitting.
Yeah.
Our
So-
records suffer a little bit.
Who was our dog? Who was our dog on that?
It was Max, wasn't it?
Oh, it's Max Holloway. Yep. And look at that.
Wasn't it,
It's like
bro?
yeah, our dogs are like now. That's making me want to fucking go Paulo Costa.
parlay is gonna be fucking Dos
Those-
Santos, Jalton, Kevin Holland, Costa, Islam.
I'm gonna do 3. I'm gonna do two $10 parlays and a 5. Just the 5 make it just absolutely chaotic. Like
Yeah,
absurd.
do the underdog 5.
Yeah.
I like it. I've been sticking.
Better
I've been
throw Dustin on that underdog 5.
words lately. The 4 legs have been treating me well lately. I am the king of nailing the first 11 legs and then losing on the 12. So,
I lost by 1 rebound tonight. A parlay.
dude, there was a day a couple days ago. I think I lost like 6 tickets all by 1 leg, and I was like, all right.
Makes you want to run into a wall.
I think I'm 0 for 15 on parlays. 0 for 15.
I'm not far off.
To start the year.
Four
To
legs
start
have
the year,
been-
0 for 15.
I'm hitting
I'm hitting legs again.
Ridiculous.
Rangers did me dirty yesterday.
I had the Rangers when they made that comeback in Carolina. I was
Giants and A's both came back today. So
Right.
dumb.
let's wrap this, Drew, before we skip this fucking tangent.
Yeah. Do we want to
Degenerate
run through 304? We want to save that.
just the 3 fights. The three fights we mentioned and we hit basically.
So we got, if you guys have been following along, which I know you have, we already made these matchups for them. The UFC has been reaching out to us for matchmaking opportunities. We've been kind of helping them out. We got, Bobby Green versus Patty Pimblett.
Love it.
Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades, and Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. Let's hit Bobby Green versus Patty Pimblett first. It looks like it's opening up. I think Molly McCann is probably going to be the prelim featured fight. So Bobby Green and Patty Pimblett will be opening up the main card. Sean, thoughts? I mean, I think you were the one that initially brought up Bobby Green and Patty Pimblett.
I absolutely love the fight. Bobby Green made a great call out after a great win against Jim Miller. I mean, he deserved every part of this. And on top of it, it's like he has such name value. You're in the UK and Manchester against Patty Pimblett. And it's Patty's time to go into the top 15 if he wins. I'm not going to break down the fight or anything. I'm just saying, of making this fight, 10 out of 10. I love the fight. Everything about it.
Agreed. That one, and Bobby Green just swagged on Jim Miller. He's looking to go to the UK and swag on Patty Pimblett. And Patty's finally got to fight up. Patty's he's had the hype. He's had the backing of like the entire country. And
he's had fucking Dana
White privilege.
Taking Dana's hand.
Yeah. Once again, we got Molly McCann and Patty Pimblett on there. They started off both winning every time they were on the same card. Molly McCann kind of hitting a skid, and then Patty lost. Patty's up to 3 losses now for his pro career, but 21-3, not a slouch. Bobby Green, 32, 15-1, just swagging. Of course, I'm going with Bobby Green. Started off, but sweet fight. That's going to be a great way to open up that card. Co-main event, heavyweight. It is, so they're competing for the interim belt, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you see that thing of Chael talking?
I didn't watch the video.
So, big Uncle Chael guy over here.
Aren't we all?
Undisputed.
He put it great. He's like, as soon as John Jones steps in the octagon, there is no more interim belt. The interim belt only exists when the champion isn't around. So it doesn't exist as soon as John Jones and that steps in the octagon and the bell rings. Nothing else fucking matters. Like, it only exists if the champion's not there. So they're fighting for fucking nothing. And we need to like stop pretending it's something. Interim's literally only meant to be around for one fight.
My motto is always that the interim belt counts because the champ is gone, but on the same token, champ comes back, interim belt's gone. 100%.
There is no unifying. There's only one fucking belt.
Yeah. And that's very difficult to make any calls on that one based on their first meeting because it ended in a quick injury. But Curtis Blades did not look bad in his last one. He was defending against Jailton Almeida most of the time through the first, got stuck on bottom in bad positions, but managed to work his way out of it. Got to give him all the credit in the world.
I think Curtis Blades has worked tremendously on his ground game. Tremendously.
Yeah. He was I'm pretty sure he was like a stud wrestler in college before the UFC, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, but wrestling doesn't translate to being on your back.
Yeah. Especially at heavyweight where just one, could, if they breathe on you right, you're going to sleep.
A la Derek Lewis. But
and then
also, if anyone fucking put money on Derek Lewis takedown, good on you. I hope you enjoy your thousands of dollars.
Oh, Lord, man. Lord, that had to be long odds. Had to be long odds. About as long as odds as him landing a flying knee. So anybody who's hitting those is just, they're cheating somehow. And then the main event, no surprise, Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. Another rematch where the original initial fight ended in a quick injury. It was the
Bilal Muhammad's a fucking pussy.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to jump on.
Not going to mince words here.
Not going to disagree. I don't like the style. I understand it's mixed martial arts. You got to mix the martial arts. I'm just not a fan of stallers. I'm not a fan of guys who depend on being in the advantageous position the whole fight and saying like I was on top the whole fight. I'm not a big fan of it.
Oh, let's get poked in the eye. Was it Chris? Who did Chris Weidman poke in the eye twice?
Santos, one of the Santoses. I forgot his first name.
And
that last one out.
Got him bad twice, and that dude did not give a shit. Didn't want to DQ. Didn't want to fucking no contest. Yes, it was a pretty bad eye poke. Yeah, 100%. Act like you just got shot.
It's a tough position to be in when you get poked real hard like that. I fully understand it, but it's just not good for business. Not good for business, man. Sean, thoughts on this one?
Leon fights Bilal like he does not fucking genuinely does not like Bilal. How he fights everyone versus how he fought Bilal. Like Leon fought him 10 times more aggressively because he doesn't respect his stand-up, I think.
Yeah, I do think Bilal's ground game has got significantly better since their first fight. Like he went to Khabib's camp, trained with them for 2.5 months, and he's been supposedly carrying that over to his own camp back in America. I do think he's a better fighter, but so is Leon. Leon's a way better fighter too, and he has the height, he has the reach, he has the takedown defense. I'm sorry, Bilal, your wrestling is not Colby Covington or Kamaru Usman status. It just isn't. Your gas tank is not Kamaru Usman status or Colby Covington's. And Leon was able to deal with both of them. 3 straight fights. This was what I said. I think they purposely picked this instead of the Shavkat because they wanted to give a layup at the end of the night. Because if you look at the UK fight cards, other than the Leon Edwards one, the last one, every time they come to the UK, something bad happens to the UK fighter in the main event. It was like a 6-time streak where UK fights just did not go for the UK guy, and then Leon ended that streak. And I think they're like, do we really want to do Shavkat? And so it's like, no, we're going to do Bilal, and we'll do Shavkat in like Madison Square Garden or something and let him win the belt then.
That's a good point. And in the live Instagram chat, we got one a sponsor of the show, the Strong Arm Bar and Grill, is taking Leon over Bilal. I haven't looked at the odds, but I'm gonna bet that Leon is opening as the favorite.
I'm gonna say like minus 225. That's my guess.
I was thinking minus 210 somewhere in there.
Yeah,
somewhere
so
in there.
If it was like minus 300 or a minus 150, I would be very surprised. Either way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm gonna say unanimous decision. I don't think it'll be a finish.
I 100% think Leon's knocking him the fuck out.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you think it's okay? Yeah, I can see that off of the last fight. He had enough. He had the eye pokes, and he's like, "Oh, got a way to end this fight and maybe get a DQ win by any chance." Or
all day.
Yeah, but he does put emotions aside when it comes to the octagon. You saw that Kobe fight. He even said that he was so flustered that whole night and everything with the weight cut, but then he put all emotions aside and fought a good fight. So emotions he doesn't carry into the octagon.
No, I think he's just does not respect Bilal's striking at all. So he's not
scared of walk him down. He's not scared of that grappling either.
No, because Leon, underrated, has great ground game.
Yeah, I think he gets a takedown
too. Because you saw what happened against Nate Diaz. He got complacent and got content. I think he's got to go. He's got to go.
I don't think he has a problem. Foot on the gas pedal. I think he learned that lesson, especially after the second Kamaru fight. I think he's really come into being the champion. Shit, I like to see what his next steps are.
Shavkat or possibly Islam. Islam, does he really need to fight Amar Tazoukian again? Does he really need to? Or is he?
It was years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
I think if Islam moves up, he has more than enough right to.
Yeah, he does. He'll tie the record. There's only been three guys. The two guys have defended the belt 3 times. So that's BJ Penn, BJ, and Khabib. So it's like he ties them. Like, hey, that's a right to fight, in my opinion. Yeah, I know it's only 3, but at the same point, it has tied the record for that division.
I've argued with several Instagram trolls over Islam too, and that's he
true 155er, but Alex Williams and Volkanovski was the best fighter in the world.
Exactly. If he can go in and take out Dustin as easily as he took out Volk in the last one, and Charles Oliveira, Dan Hooker, Bobby Green, Drew Dober, if he can do that to Dustin Poirier, I'll give it to him. You get your championship fight.
That would be a fun fight to talk about. I would really like to talk about that one.
I think Leon handles Islam very well.
I've already talked to my buddy about this one. I said, it's a really tough matchup for Islam because he doesn't have the weight. He doesn't have the weight. And Kamaru Usman's way bigger.
Yeah, I was going to say the biggest test is Leon fighting Kamaru and standing up most of the time.
But he's sneaky big.
He's 6'2", I think, right? 6'2" or 6'1". He's a tall-ass motherfucker. Like, he's sculpted. A fucking Greek god looking dude.
Exactly. When you take that thickness and stretch it out, he's very lean, but still a thick dude. Still a thick, sneaky big.
And stupid quick. So quick.
Yeah. He's so much more capable than what he's shown in the last couple ones. But we will dive deeper into that when we get there, boys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been the Fight Pit UFC 302 predictions and breakdowns. Your boy Drew, your boy Gage, your boy Sean. We will be back every single week that we got fights, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the Fight Pit, the House Call Sports, the official Fight Pit on Instagram. You will find all of us on there. Follow us as well. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, thank you for the support. We will see you on the next one.